the focus was on her, sort of getting pounded from the back.
Welcome to another episode of the Blue Banana Podcast.
Yay.
We are quite warmed up because even though I am head banana and should be in charge of making sure the other two don't fuck up, I fucked up. So we recorded already half an episode almost. And my audio stopped recording after 2.5 minutes. So just for transparency's sake, we're gonna reenact what because we had a fantastic episode already, I would say. I think it was
It was really fun.
We found out really sort of details about Liam's secret piercing.
To be fair, I never revealed where it was, but there was a lot of discussion about it.
Yeah, we also found out that we should have called this podcast the Trash Talk Podcast instead of the Blue Banana Podcast.
Let's go in order. So, Manu, spend the next 7 minutes talking about where you've been on holiday whilst not introducing us.
Yeah, that was the first 7 minutes. Okay, so as you can still see, I am still not back in Japan. So from the previous episode, you know I was in Spain. Now I'm back in Germany, and then in 2 days from now, I'm flying to New York, and then the LA from there, and then back to Tokyo. So there will be an America episode, hopefully too. We're just this is the travel sequence here, these 3 episodes of the Blue Banana Podcast. And we already said we're very excited to trash talk America or praise it. Who knows? I mean,
less so. Americans, I'll praise. America as an institution.
We'll see. I'm very excited, honestly. There's things I'm as confused about with America as many of you, I guess, many of my American friends too. But overall, I'm extremely excited to, finally visit the country and, just see the culture, meet a few people that I know, obviously. But enough about me. How are you two doing? I have in the middle here, we have the Blue Banana, Sophie. How you doing, Sophie?
I'm doing okay. I think that was my response, so I'll keep still doing okay.
You said you're doing good, so clearly me
then,
the audio downgrade.
You fucked up, and so, I've sort of lost my momentum here. I'm from good to okay now. I'm okay.
All right, how you doing, Liam? On the right here.
You know what? I forget what I said last time, so I'm good. I'm warmed up. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, we already know what we're going to talk about a bunch.
Yeah.
So, just quick update. We talked a lot about polyphia because I changed my hair, yes.
Yeah, Manu's a fuckboy now.
Complete with his piercing.
Yes. So I'm going to show them again.
Sparkle, sparkle.
And that it's silver, it's not black.
No, Manu doesn't like the silver. Manu would prefer the black.
He wants onyx to be
piercings,
specific.
like his
Specific.
ring.
You guys know me so well. How do you know? How do you know about that? Exactly. So I have to let them heal properly first. It's like a titanium.
Oh yeah, titanium, the wonder metal.
It's the wonder metal that's non-allergic and basically helps the wound heal better and faster. So it's a bit shiny now, but I do want it to be even more subtle, like get this tiny like onyx colored or black, like matte black colored thing later. I have to wait those 6 weeks or something, I think.
Is it 6 weeks?
COVID booster.
I think they told me 6 to 8 weeks.
Really? I don't remember that it was 6 weeks. I don't know. I got mine done a long time ago.
And it's probably going to be different for everyone. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people who, this is my first piercing, so I don't know. But there's probably going to be people in the comments who are saying, oh no, you can do it after 2 days, whatever. But what they told me is 4 to 6 weeks to heal and then 6 to 8 weeks to, take it out. So for example, they also told me I can't go swimming or to the solarium for 4 weeks, which isn't that bad because I just came back from Spain.
But you're on holiday.
It's already cold. It's already cold. It's actually freezing here. And I don't think I'll go swimming in LA. So that's okay. The only thing that sucks is no sauna for 4 weeks too. That's a real blow. That's the real hard part.
Oh, I don't ever remember getting told that.
No, this is new information.
Like you said, Manu, I'm sure it's different for everyone, but yeah, so I guess some people are a lot more careful than others. I had a piercing. I got my cartilage pierced against the wishes of my parents when I was in high school. They told me they didn't want me to get it, and I did it anyways, and didn't tell them that I was going to do it. But then it ended up being one of those situations where it's like, I told you this is why you should listen to your parents, because it got infected. Like you said, Manu, my skin skin started growing over my piercing.
Hey.
And so I ended up getting it taken out, obviously. But then some people have no problem. Like my sister did her own second piercing by just getting one of her earrings, like numbing her earlobe with ice and like
hate it.
piercing through it. There was a real hardcore girl in high school when we were in year 7. So fresh, like, you know, young little year 7 kids must have been going through a real edgy time in her life because she pierced her own lip with a stapler.
Yo, that's hardcore. That's fucking
That's
hardcore.
great. That's
Whoa.
2 in 1.
That's like a movie move.
Such value.
If that happens in a TV show, it's kind of like, oh, nobody would actually do something like that. Yo, with a stapler?
Yeah, but full disclaimer here, it did get infected, so I would not recommend
No.
doing
No
it at
shit.
home.
So clearly was not a titanium stapler.
That was the problem, wasn't titanium.
It was a lesser metal.
Well, another thing that they told me is, like, for example, apparently, I'm unaware of that, there is a myth that you need to, like, rotate the piercing, which is apparently not true.
I've had my piercing since I was, I don't know, in primary school. And like, I go for months on end without having a piercing in. I'm really, like, I'm going to be honest, I'm very lazy. I think that's also why my cartilage piercings got infected because I didn't take proper care of it. And so now, if I just take my earrings out for months, the back starts to close back up. And so I have to really force my piercing through to open it again. And I think that's why they obviously say like 4 to 6 weeks for it to heal, and then 6 to 8 weeks, you know, don't take it out because otherwise it is going to close up.
I do know people, I think it really depends on the person, because I know people who say even after years, as you said, like even if they take it out for 2 or 3 days, it starts closing. And then I know people who don't wear earrings or piercings like months at a time, and it just stays open and it's just like fully healed. So I think it's really like a personal thing. I mean, what they told me, which I think makes sense, is like just disinfect it twice a day for a couple of weeks, which I think is reasonable. Do you have to take out your earrings at the airport? I hope not. 'Cause
Nah.
That would be very painful.
that would be an issue.
Yeah.
Do they even detect them when you're walking through?
I don't
don't
think
think
so.
so.
Because they don't like detect belts and stuff, or at least like not normal belts.
Some belts, they ask you to take it off.
They just want you to take your pants off, though. That's airport security power.
Sir, please take your pants off and your shoes.
And your top while you're at it.
And that underwear, that looks like metal underwear.
Oh, there's the piercing. That's what set it off.
We found the problem.
Liam's secret piercing
Would you please step into the inspection zone, sir?
with the gloves.
The gloves and everything. Yeah. We're going to search you for, drugs. We're going to stroke you up and down for drugs.
that turned into porn very fast.
Have either of you ever had, like, a mildly sexual encounter with airport security? Because I have. I was once pulled aside for a random check with a woman. I was like maybe like 22 or 23 years old, and she started like seriously hitting on me. And I would have hit on her back if I wasn't like on tour and was never going to be in that airport probably ever again in my life.
Well, look at you, Liam. I don't think that ever happened to me.
No, me neither.
I was like, this is one step away from evolving into those pornographic scenes that I viewed.
Yeah, nice. Was she touching you down properly?
I suppose so. Like, it was an interesting experience.
I think I need more details from the story.
Like, there was a mild search involved. Like, no, it was, I would call it sensually professional.
I have to search. Sir, I think you might be concealing something in your mouth. I will have to go in there and look.
Mouth.
With my mouth.
With my mouth.
My tongue is great for probing.
Very sensitive. Can easily pick up on a lot of stuff.
No, I can confirm that's never happened to me. And I think
Good.
I'm glad.
That's
think
probably for the best.
I think for you it's probably for the best. I think nowadays, I don't remember, I mean, it's probably happened, but I think usually as a guy you get pat down by a guy and like the other way around.
No, I've never gotten to pat down the stuff. I don't think it happens the other way around.
Well, maybe she would have let you, Liam.
Oh, she would have.
Honestly, probably. Oh my god. It was an airport in Tasmania, and I'm like going to Melbourne so that we can drive to New South Wales for the show.
Oh, it's Tasmania. Oh, if that was the case, I thought you were talking about an overseas international travel. If it was Tasmania, that is something that you could have. Yes, it is, but that is something that you could have continued. You could have pursued that.
Everyone knows at the Tasmanian airport, you fuck the staff. That's the rule in Tasmania. The real Tasmanian tiger.
I thought you were talking about an international airport or something, Liam. You could you could have pursued that.
No, it was Tasmania, Sophie. You know where Tasmania is? Like all the way down there and there. I don't know what the direction is from here.
For context, Manu, it's also, there's a lot of jokes, sort of like the Texas area for America. The running joke is that they're all related because of how small and far away they are.
I mean, I think every country has that about some region.
Tasmania also happens to look like a vagina. So there used to be a saying that you could refer to a lady's map of Tassie.
Wait, isn't that the island at the south?
Yeah.
Southern?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it has this like triangular shape. Not spread vagina, but like...
A spread vagina.
Not a spread
All right.
vagina. I specifically said that.
You said that.
No, yeah, it's not.
It's more like an undie. It's sort of like a triangular undies.
I guess it's like anything triangular.
I think you guys are just extremely horny down there in Australia because I don't really
Potentially.
see a resemblance.
Potentially. Have you seen a vagina?
Oh, haven't had any action in days, mate.
Let me just look at this map. This is really getting me going.
This really got me going. Well, it's just like a dude sitting like at a gas station looking at the map.
Mate, that geographical landmass is really doing something to me.
Daisy is making me feel funny, mate.
Gotta go to the dunny.
I think that is the best Australian accent you've ever done, Manu.
It is.
Thanks,
It's getting
I felt it.
really
I felt it
good.
this
To you.
But at the same time, like, I was flying out from Tasmania so that I could go to Melbourne to drive to New South Wales. From there, we were going to go to Brisbane, and from there, Western Australia. There was no time to go back to Tasmania.
Basically, what Liam is saying is that she wasn't attractive enough for him to
No, she
just stay in
absolutely
Tasmania
was,
for
but,
just
like-
one day because it's still the same country. Wouldn't have been that.
It's the same country. It is literally overseas.
Liam was like, I'm very sorry, good lady. I would love to cable you, but I have to cable this light instead.
I'd love to light you up.
I would love to light up your world, but I have to do it at the stage downtown.
Yes.
I was contracted. It was one of my first weeks on the job. I wanted to make a good impression. I'd best not miss my flight and therefore the show tomorrow.
Like 2 years into the job, would you have done it? Probably, yes.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, that job? Absolutely. Fuck that. I just would have been like, oh, missed my flight. Whoops. Because, like,
Whoopsie, mate.
touring is great the first time. The first time you travel around Australia with a show, it's all magical and great. And then it gets significantly worse the next few times. And by the fourth time I did it, it was just rubbish. Like, it's all bush. There's a lot of bush. I've seen all of this bush before. That's all Australia is. It's just bush.
The magical bush of Tassie.
We're still talking about the lady, or is
Yes, the vagina. We're talking about the vagina of Australia. It's all bush. That's why he
all
didn't
bush.
want to stay down there.
It makes
wasn't
so
up
much
to his
sense now.
standard.
Thick scrub.
I don't think I told you this, Manu. I don't know if you, I don't think, this was during the...
Curious where this
about
one is
my
going.
bush. No, it actually
you've told
is.
me?
It actually sort of is, yeah. I told you and Riley during, when Riley was in the episode with us. I think it was actually during a member special. But Manu, for your ears and for everyone else who missed out, if you're not a member, this is the type of stuff that we share in member specials. I had a high school boyfriend, a very wholesome, pure high school boyfriend that I wouldn't really consider my boyfriend. And I remember it was like a purely, like almost like a purely text relationship as it is when you're young. And I remember when he broke up with me via text and told me it was because I don't, his exact words were, by the way, I think you should wax down there instead of shaving. And I was appalled because we had not done anything sexual of any nature. I don't think we'd even kissed. So I
How
was
did he
like,
know?
But were there descriptions sent?
no. Like when I say it was a texting relationship.
Sophie was like, you have to imagine, mate, imagine the
Mate.
rainforest in the Amazon.
It's a great Sophie accent.
Did he just assume? Or was it just some general life advice for the break? He was like, I'm breaking up with this girl, but at least I want her to learn something. I don't want her to go out of this relationship.
To impart some lessons.
Here is the most cynical view I can come up with. He mixed you up with another girl that he was kind of text relationshiping.
Wow. I never thought of it that way.
Because otherwise, I'm not sure why it happened.
I mean, he was already scum in my eyes, but now he's even downgraded further.
I actually had like one more thing that I remembered when you talked about your sister making her own piercings, because I remember like when we were in school, we had like a trip, and I remember all the girls getting like their ears pierced as well. What they did is like they got like a a security pin and like put it like lit it, like made it hot with a lighter to disinfect it. And then
That's
just
what my sister did. Yeah, that's what my sister did. She disinfected it with fire.
Didn't work either. Yeah, they all got infected too, I think, if I remember correctly.
Well, I think my older sister's earring, I think the piercing's still there, so props to her.
Is this the older sister with the child?
Yeah, she does now have a
I
child.
would be
yes.
interested to know what her views are on her young child getting their ear pierced.
I've never asked. I don't think she's like, she doesn't really care so much, I don't think.
Because your parents sound like they cared quite a bit.
I would say that my parents were a lot more conservative than we are. Growing up, you know, cultural differences, them coming from Korea, religious background, and us growing up here. Because there are also parents who are very big on piercing their kids' child, like, ears. And that's something that I've sort of just always, you know, been like, like, you know, it's up to them.
That was actually interesting, yeah. Because, like, they put that on the flyer they gave me. They were like, we're not piercing children under the age of 7 or something. And I was like, why would you?
Yeah.
But apparently it's like something parents...
It's a big thing.
Yeah.
I'm not invested into it like either side. I know that there are people on the other side who are like, you know, it's very much about the child's rights and, you know, it's like bodily mutilation.
Yeah, it's kind of, does the child actually want it, kind of? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not really invested into either side. And I don't think my sister is either. But I guess I'll find out. But also it's a bit different, I think, like as far as we've come in our society. It's a boy. It's a young boy. We've got a nephew.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so...
You said it like an announcement. It's a boy.
I've got
Got a nephew.
But that's also not something that's big in our family either. You know how gender reveals are a big thing when like
I hate
people
gender
reveals.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't a big thing in our family. Even now, the way that like the clothes that my sister buys him is like he dresses up in like bright pink, bright red clothes, and she really dislikes it when people are always giving her like trucks and like boats and like, you know, always has to be like fierce animals. And she's like, but I want to dress him up in this cute strawberry outfit. He's so cute.
Like, I actually, also my family recently, someone in my family also got their first child. And they had kind of the opposite experience because like from their siblings that had also previously had children, they got all, like, it's a girl and they got all the boy stuff. And so I think my parents or something, like, they gifted them like something, you know, more girly, quote unquote, like more pink and like kind of cutesy. And they were like, you know, we really don't mind, you know, like dressing our kid gender neutral or like more boyish, quote unquote. But it's kind of nice at least having something pink for a change. I was like. So I guess they had like the opposite experience from your sister.
Yeah, fair enough.
Anyways, we diverted a lot from the topic of today's
that was a
podcast.
poor reenactment.
Yeah. Did you guys know that Bleach is coming out soon?
Yeah, blah blah. Bleach is coming out. It's on Disney. We don't have Disney Plus. I leached my Disney account from my roommate.
So we're not watching it.
So we're not.
That was basically the discussion we had. Looks great, too complicated, don't care.
And we compared it to basically, I went on a whole tangent with Sophie together, how you have to like get different providers to even watch sports these days. It feels kind of like that with anime.
Oh yeah, and then Sophie shared her life hack.
Yes, that
Gambling.
involved gambling. But this is how we transition into our topic.
Gambling is good in this case.
Gambling is not great. But in this scenario, it does provide a life hack because I don't know whether it works everywhere, but I know at least in Australia, there is a platform where if you place a bet on, I know it because a few of my friends have done it for NBA, but I imagine that you could do it for other sports as well. If you place a bet on a team at the beginning of the season, every time there is a game, you can watch the games through the platform. Not told through my personal experience, not endorsing gambling, but
you can use my code JOYGIRL for 5% off.
yeah, so please.
Nice. It's a good hack. I do something very similar. Like basically because, as I said, like I live in Japan where it's really difficult. I tried getting like a Bundesliga and Champions League like packages in Japan, but you can't if you don't have you can book it on top of your existing TV providing thing. Like you need a TV, in other words, to even like watch it apparently. So what I did is, because in Germany you need like 6 or 7 different channels to even watch every game of your team. So what I did is I got ESPN Plus from the US. They just show everything and just use a VPN to watch it.
Significantly less gambling with your strat, Monu.
No.
Yeah, it's a very good venue and transition into the topic of today, because I kind of prepared two just to see how much we get into both of them. One for later, if we, depending how long we stick with this one, is going to be the future of YouTube, which I think is interesting. I'm kind of want to talk to you guys about where the meta is going and how YouTube's changing at the moment slightly. But for now, using Sophie's fantastic transition of gambling, I wanted to talk about Twitch drama, which has been going on the last few weeks. Might be old news when this comes out slightly, but I still want to talk to you guys about it. We had one streamer being banned only for 7 days for having sex live on stream. We had the drama with between Ludwig's girlfriends and one of the sixth, as we learned, sixth biggest Twitch streamer.
I don't know if it's specifically Twitch, like the sixth biggest streamer, XQC.
We can start with that too. And then the third thing was obviously
But let's
the
not.
big.
Let's not.
No, sure.
Just
Just to finish my thought. The third thing was, of course, the streamer who basically scammed other streamers and their audience out of over $300,000 plus.
I believe the total is up to almost 400,000 now, as more keeps coming out.
But let's start with you, Sophie, then let's start with the middle one.
No. Let's start with the sex one.
Oh yeah, girl got fucked on stream. Did you guys see that?
Was it on Tasmania? Was it related there? Anyways, no, I did not see that. You mentioned, Liam, that you got to see the clip, which has been by now banished to darker sides of the internet.
It's no longer on Twitch, obviously, and I can't find the clip. I'm sure it's there. I remember it quite vividly, though. I'll do the demonstration again. The girl is like bent over, like so, yeah? And you can't see the guy behind her, but there's a bit of this happening. However, in the background, there is a reflective device, a pane of glass, which shows everything. And you can literally just see her getting railed by a guy in the background.
And you say it was on purpose, like she was just doing it for content, basically.
It was on purpose, like she was, like, it looked like she was monitoring Twitch chat while it was happening. And she was very clearly purposely positioned so that he was as off camera as, you know, they could make it. I think part of him does pop onto camera, like properly, not just in the glass.
When we say part of him, are we talking like a face, or are we talking...
Okay, I found the clip on YouTube. Do you want me to send it to you, Sophie?
Yeah, show it to Sophie.
I found the link on Pornhub.
Oh, no surprise.
Not surprised it would be, though.
Sophie's favorite.
Second after gambling.
Sophie doesn't watch much YouTube, but yeah.
It's just like, I don't use Google anymore. I just Google stuff on Pornhub.
It goes 1, gambling, and 2, Pornhub.
Oh my god, the thumbnail.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
It's barely showing anything. I think he's mostly just talking about it.
No, the clip is playing now.
Oh, I haven't verified my age. I'll watch it later.
What?
They need my ID.
What do you mean they need your ID?
I don't know. That's what YouTube's told me, that I need to verify my age, and I just clicked verify, and it wants my ID.
I really would love to know the context of this. Clearly, she didn't tell. Oh yeah, you can see the guy on camera in the back.
Like, it is not subtle, or it's not as subtle as they thought it was.
No, it's definitely not subtle. I mean, clearly she wouldn't have done it if she didn't think people would notice, right?
I don't know. That's the thing. We don't know the motive.
What were people commenting?
It doesn't show the comments, I don't think, yeah. So, I'm not sure. To be fair, she is not a large streamer, so there wouldn't have been many comments to begin with. The only reason why she's known at all is because she got fucked on stream. And so, after her 7-day ban, you know, her channel saw a significant improvement. Yeah. So the whole thing now is like, if you're only going to get banned for 7 days, why not just take a dick and, you know, become a superstar afterwards?
That is insane.
And as we said, there are people who have been banned permanently for significantly less than that.
Do you ever see on Twitter, like, people getting their emotes rejected for sexual content?
Yeah.
When it's really nothing, for like ridiculous reasons. But then this apparently is only 7-day ban for whatever reason.
Yeah, because you can't see anything.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I'm like, go either way. Like, either have actual clear rules that everyone can follow, or allow something like this, whatever. Like, I mean, obviously then Twitch would turn into basically, like, half of it would be porn probably at some point, where just people who do like live cams or whatever would go to Twitch.
Yeah, instead of just chatting, it's just fucking. That's the category.
Is playing just fine. Liam is writing dick. 120,000 people watching.
Mate, if 120,000 people are gonna watch and sub, let's do it.
Let's raid this orgy.
That's rated, yeah.
Let's rate this. An IRL stream. Yeah, Twitch is wild.
Dude, Twitch is wild.
The guy who hate-rated Pokemon, like hate-rated, but like he got permanently banned instantly. Just permabanned, no questions asked.
What did he do?
He rated Pokemon, and I believe he, told his audience to say disparaging things.
Oh, hate rated. Okay.
I forget what his name is. I should know. I'm not big on Twitch.
I should know. It was
I
me.
don't know who people are. Was his name Gideon?
Oh, I think I've heard that name before.
Anyway, permanently banned for, an unfriendly raid.
I mean, to be fair, it's not exactly nice, but
Yeah.
It's not.
I understand why you would get a ban for that.
Yeah, I can understand why you would get a ban. Like, it's just that you would also equally expect this streamer to have gotten banned.
Yes.
Yes.
I would understand
Yes.
if they had the same sort of level of punishment. But the fact that they are so incredibly skewed just makes you go, oh, what? Well, maybe like Gideon should have had the 7-day ban. And maybe that levels things out. Or the girl gets permanently banned because it's a clear breach of terms of service.
Well, I wonder whether they have sort of it obviously doesn't seem like they have a consistent penalty system, but I wonder whether they go by a system of like at least precedent, so that, if someone else does another sexual thing, does that mean it's just going to be a light slap on the wrist, or is it going to be a permaban in the future?
A light slap on the wrist is a sexual thing.
That I can stream, maybe.
Not on the wrist. It's like, banned. But I mean, I'm just wondering with stuff like this, like if it was a male streamer, kind of fucking a girl on stream, I feel like they would probably have been banned permanently.
You think?
No?
I don't know. You can't tell.
Yeah, you can't tell. And I also wonder whether it would be as obvious, because like I haven't watched the video yet, but it seems to be the case that the focus was on her sort of getting pounded from the back. Like in this one, would it just be his face sort of just...
I would love to hear your commentary on like any porn. That's sort of hilarious. So right now the focus is on her getting pounded from the back.
But you know what I mean? I just don't know, like, because I just imagine it would be a little bit different if it was... I feel like it would be harder to focus it on him.
Like, I imagine there are situations where you could get away with it. If
Yeah.
you're like sitting down on a chair and like, getting a sneaky blowjob under the desk or something. But
See, even then, I feel like it would...
Manu's smiling like that's
restrict
happening
your
right
moment.
now.
Yeah, it's like, oh, fuck, they're onto me. Stop it.
Go, leave.
But yeah, you know what I mean? Like, even then, if it was like a sneaky blowjob, I feel like it wouldn't be as obvious. Unless you played it up so that it is a bit obvious.
Definitely. That's why it's sneaky.
Why would you even have sex on stream if you wouldn't want people to kind of know what's going on, right?
Yeah, there's probably like an element of, outdoor danger. Anyone could see us, like my viewers.
Actually, yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe it was just a bit of fun, like, oh, risque. Yeah,
Really?
maybe they'll know, like, maybe they won't.
Like, I don't think this was done as like a calculated plan to like get more viewers. It feels
No,
like a
yeah.
very spur of the moment thing.
Oh, okay then.
Like, we're horny. I've only got like 20 people watching anyway. Just do it. Stay like this distance away and we'll get away with it.
Kind of fun, kind of kinky. Okay, I get it.
And pretend there's no glass in the background.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you don't see that reflection from where you're standing. That was just probably not. I would like to know what sort of content she usually does, because if otherwise it's really just like more chatty, gaming, whatever, then I would lean towards, okay, this, as you say, it's kind of like something in the moment. If it's purposefully kind of sexual in general.
Yeah, because Twitch can get wild. I remember one of the first things I came across on Twitch was like, was this lady almost like making out with her mic, like really like eating her
ASMR
mic.
stuff?
Yeah, but like, yeah,
Is
like
that
really,
Amaranth or who's that?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
I don't know who it was, but I was
Doesn't
like,
she do
this
that?
is wild. It's almost like she's giving a blowjob to the mic.
Some wild things
Yeah.
do happen on Twitch. It went through a big feet phase as well, I believe. And like, there was a point where you would have squat girls who would, do a certain amount of squats for a donation in really tight pants.
Right.
I was gonna say, I was like, I don't have to wear I don't want to wear the tight pants, but maybe just to like get my glutes fired.
Yeah, Sophie,
Sophie,
no
don't
no
tempt
pan
them.
squats.
Don't tempt them.
You'll get a lot of views probably.
No, I just mean like, I could be wearing loose pants.
I was just doing naked exercise on stream. What's the big deal?
Yeah, you could name yourself Squat Girl.
Squat girl.
Hello, my Nakamatachi.
What if it was just waist up? So that's just like, holding weight.
I'm just having a good time.
You could probably do it in a parody sort of way. Like, I imagine what you're thinking, Sophie. I don't know how successful it would be.
It's kind of the magic of Twitch also, though, because so many things do happen in real time in kind of this live setting, which I think is what people also, like, from a viewing perspective, get out of it. While obviously on YouTube, everything is filmed, and either you have a complete script or like something like an outline for a video, or even if you don't have that, you still have full control of what you show. And like everything that's in the video, unless it's like a minor detail, like, I don't know, you let your vibrator lie around in the background or whatever. But other than that, everything is super curated.
I think Pokemon did that once as well.
Yeah, I think so. But like on Twitch, it's kind of like in the moment, and if you fuck up, it's live. It's like people are there to watch. So I think that makes for a lot of really interesting things.
Yeah, I think the closest thing that happens in YouTube is a video where you've like forgotten to edit something out of. Like I think that's happened in a couple of family vlogs that upload daily. They've like accidentally left in the abuse of their children and such.
What?
Really,
I'm not kidding.
Abuse.
Yeah, family vlogs are dark. They like, I think we've discussed this before. We don't need to go into it again, but like, it's a questionable industry to say the least.
It is.
I mean, you can do streaming on YouTube as well, but obviously we are just talking about the video side of things, what it's mainly known for. But I think that's what we were saying in our first episode that failed, as in the first recording of today's episode that failed. That's why a lot of like Twitch streamers have come back onto YouTube, or I even heard that they're going to Facebook now to stream, which is wild. Yeah, apparently a lot of gamers are going to Facebook.
They used to give out contracts, I believe, to high-profile streamers. Like, they were willing to pay quite a bit.
Because they really want to sort of grow that area.
I mean, YouTube did too, right?
Yeah, exactly. YouTube did that too. And I mean, Twitch has, apart from just their wacky penalty system, I know that they have also recently raised their cutout, like the amount of, I guess the share that they take from.
They take from the revenue.
Exactly. So like it's pretty big now. I know for affiliates, it's 50%.
It's like a 55 to 45 split of revenue is what it says here. If so, that's huge.
I don't know how much it is for partners, but I'm pretty sure for affiliates, it's like 50-50.
If you're an affiliate, you're probably not making much money.
No.
Anyway, I imagine it wouldn't impact it too much, but still, that it is very significant compared to YouTube split anyway.
And when like Twitch started, the whole reason why a lot of people used it, apart from the fact that it's a streaming site, was that it obviously was taking a smaller cut than YouTube was.
To be fair, that is just like the ad payouts for Twitch. Like, donations are a completely different system. Donation programs, as far as I'm aware, can be entirely third party.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I don't think Twitch likes that, but they can be.
No, it can be, yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, like, moving on from that, let's maybe move on to the second thing. Liam, I think you have you're the pro in like laying out you're good at storytelling with drama, I think. So I'll leave that to you, as far as you know about it. Obviously, the XQC one.
Oh, I don't know about it. I don't know anything about it, literally. I just know the name. I know he got in trouble for, like, slagging off some woman. That's legit all I know.
No, I think so. I'm also, and again, like maybe we shouldn't talk too much about it then, because I'm also not super in the details, but what I know is apparently he broke up with, like, I know there's a whole story. I mean, I'm not that deep into the entire Twitch lore and like how all the big streamers are kind of connected to each other. I know there's was some preamble, and there was something like people were mad at him, or he was mad at people for not going to like an event or something.
Oh, he pulled out of, was it Creator Clash that he pulled out of?
Something like that. Yeah. And I think what happened was, like, he was already kind of under fire a little bit for that. But then what happened, he broke up with his girlfriend, and because he's basically one of the most viewed people on the planet, I think she was kind of worried that she would get a lot of hate for like breaking up, no matter like how it went. And so I think she wanted to be the first person to share the news, but he decided to talk about it, and he called her on stream, and like they had apparently they were like unraveling their relationship for like an hour in front of 150,000 people or something.
That sounds like good viewing.
It was apparently very bizarre, and I don't know, like, again, I don't know the background, so I don't want to say who's who's in the right and whatever. So I can't do that judgment. But what I know is that Ludwig's girlfriend, who's also a big streamer, like that she kind of on Twitter said you shouldn't abuse your platform to basically, hate on your ex-girlfriends, because apparently I think they're friends or something, and he was like clapping back to that, and there was like some drama in that regard. And I'm only mentioning this because I thought it was really interesting, because those two really like beefed a lot on Twitter. I think some of the tweets aren't even available anymore. And then like just a few days later, that gambling thing, that scam thing happened, and then Ludwig worked together with
QXC, and he's actually the good guy in that story. It's crazy.
Yeah, so it was really I was very entertained, even though I really don't know the intricate details of everything that went down there. That gambling thing is also wild.
Yeah, the streamer in question, I believe his name is Slicker. He is a gambling addict, and over the years he has conned almost 400,000 US dollar dues.
Oh, this is years.
From streamers. Well, it wasn't just in one go. This is like over time.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think what he would do is basically ask a lot of people, including colleagues, other streamers and YouTubers, but also fans. Like he would message them and basically be like, hey, I'm like in a bad financial situation right now. Could you lend me some money?
It's like a bit funnier than that. I've seen some of the videos where he literally starts with, hey, how old are you? And then goes on to ask about the money. It's like, great opening line from anyone that you want to hear. Hey, how old are you?
Not sus at all. How old are you? 19. Great. It's like there's only good things are gonna come after this opening message.
So what's the deal? So because it was on the down low, people just believed that he was in like dire situation and just kept lending them money.
Yeah, he was one-on-oneing them and kind of being like, oh, hey, sorry, like I feel very uncomfortable asking you this, but I'm in a really bad financial situation, and I totally understand if you don't want to. And then people were nice to him, of course. In like apparently some people sent him like tens of thousands of dollars
of money. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But like the thing is, he did this so well. He is a phenomenal actor. Like if you look at those videos, it is hard to watch those videos and not like kind of feel for him, but he was very cold and calculated, because if he was targeting a big streamer, he would say something like, dude, I got screwed on tax like last year. I need 15 grand to pay whatever really quickly. Or if he was targeting someone smaller, like one of his viewers, it would be like, oh man, my electricity bill came and I don't have the funds to pay it. Can I just borrow $300? Like he would accurately gauge people's threshold of income and the maximum amount he could extract from them. Like, it was insane.
That's crazy. And when you say videos, are these recorded, or are you looking at videos of like text messages?
They're recorded. You can watch them.
Of him like doing a video call and asking them.
You can see the video messages. They're also text as well.
Yeah, I saw some of the text ones. I didn't see any of the video ones.
Yeah, I saw the texts like on Discord or something, but I didn't realize that there were video calls. Well, it's good that people have evidence.
Too much evidence. It's overwhelming.
How did it all come out? Just over time, people were like, hey, this guy hasn't paid me back?
Yeah, I think people started pestering him for the money, and he was like, oh, I can't right now. Like, the payment didn't go through, blah, blah, blah.
I think it came out because two of them accidentally stumbled upon the conversation. Like, they started talking about him and were like, hey, he told me that exact same thing, and then it just sort of spiraled out of control.
I get it, like why, if you have a like big platform, it can help in reaching a lot of people to ask for money, but just instantly you would think that you are playing in a very dangerous game. If you're a streamer as well, yeah, people, like I'm sure people would start asking and pestering during streams, hey, by the way, how are you going? It seems like you're doing okay because you're here streaming, not out there working to pay your electricity bills or to pay any of us back. So can you pay me back now? Like that's a question that you could get live.
It gets trickier because, I mean, I don't know the exact facts on this, but I believe he was paying some people back using money that he borrowed from more people. And so it was like a sort of Ponzi schemey sort of thing.
Yikes.
But the thing is, I'm really glad you said dangerous game, Sophie. That plays into it quite well because, as it turns out, he is a gambling addict. He basically took the vast majority of the money and lost it. So to him, I don't think dangerous games are a problem. I think you see a quick solution to a problem.
Yeah, maybe he expected that he would just win millions of dollars with that money and pay everyone back and have like...
Potentially, yeah. You know, the gambler's fallacy, due for a big win soon.
So has he been permabanned?
No.
Really?
I don't think he
Wow.
has. I don't think he has banned at all.
It's not breaking Twitch rules, I suppose. Yeah, you're right.
I don't know, like being an exposed con man, I don't know how that sits with the Twitch terms of service.
Yeah, I suppose it depends on whether he used the platform to carry out any of his scams.
I mean, it was from viewers and colleagues, yeah.
It's a very grey area. But yeah, you would think that on principle, like they should just permaban him. But
Allegedly, he has been banned before, like temporarily banned 3 times.
3 times. Oh, they have a very lax penalty system.
I'm just seeing this like flood of Reddit threads that are like Slicker banned, Slicker unbanned, Slicker banned again, Slicker banned a 3rd time.
If you have like this sort of super long-term spontaneous content, it's so much harder to moderate than like a 10 to 20-minute video on YouTube, right?
Like, unless it blows up big, how would you know what's going on? That's very true. I mean, but it seems like on this level, right, you would know. Obviously other Twitch streamers have gotten involved, bigger Twitch streamers have gotten involved. And so the latest development is that, this XQC and Ludwig, are joining up to pay, pay people what they've lost, which I've sort of
really
seen.
great.
Yeah, which is great. It's seen a lot of people take the piss out of it as well, which you would imagine would happen on the internet, going like, I lent him $100,000, you have to pay me back. Please pay me back $100,000. So it will be
Right,
interesting
pay me
how
all
they're
that
going
money.
to, how they're going
I mean,
to
if they
moderate
had
that.
the proof, then
Yeah.
From what I see, the proof is not difficult to provide if you've got it, because there are some very like clear messages and receipts, like literal receipts, not just the metaphorical drama ones that you could show.
Imagine that, $300,000.
Almost 400,000, but like he also posted, his apology and his explanation, and I watched a bit of it. Again, you always need to be vigilant about what he did and how he did it, because he is amazingly good at making you feel sympathy for him. It's horrendous.
I mean, if you've done it for years and years,
Yet he knows the script. Like, he's an actor who has rehearsed. He's done these lines. He knows what works. He knows what emotional beats to hit.
in a way, it's like if it wasn't so dark and scummy, like you would almost feel bad because it's surely like connected to his addiction, and he's just.
You can still feel bad about that as well. Like, I feel sorry, but not sorry enough, because he did a really fucking shit thing.
You almost think, like, I wonder how it would go if he was fully transparent about it and he was like, okay, we're going to use Twitch for gambling. I'm going to gamble online. Everyone help me gamble. And this is going to be a community gambling thing.
Which you can kind of do on Twitch, actually.
Can you?
There's
Really?
Gambling
Okay.
is not very strictly enforced at all, which is kind of what this has evolved into as a greater discussion, like people trying to place a ban on gambling streams. Like, I'm pretty sure that QXC is actually sponsored by a gambling organization.
Yes, and not only, like, I think a bunch of the streamers, which I didn't know, like, I saw people attacking Ludwig and, like, other streamers who were kind of, as you, like, trying to do a good thing and pay these people back, where people were like, well, maybe you should stop promoting gambling companies, which I didn't know was a thing that streamers or YouTubers did, or people on Twitch.
YouTube is no, definitely not so much. YouTube is quite strict.
Right, that's a big no-no, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so too, but I think I've definitely heard that there's a lot of like, those in-game gambling platforms or apps that you can have on your phone?
Oh, right, like in Pokemon, if you sit at the...
I think it gets a little darker than that.
with like microtransactions.
Yeah, like, or something like that. Yeah. And I think a lot of those games sponsor Twitch streamers. I've heard that before.
I've just sent you guys a link to a category on Twitch called slots.
Oh,
Oh,
jeez.
It has 32,000 viewers currently and over 1 million followers, and it's just people gambling.
I remember I watched a whole documentary about this, where it's like all these games, mobile games, but also obviously browser games with like these microtransactions. They're genuinely like making kids addicted, and also adults, but also mostly kids addicted to gambling, where you like you have a game and you can buy a booster pack or a mystery box for like, 99 cents. And you do that once and you can get 5 for only $3.99. You get 1 free. And then what happens often is that you have like kids actually, using the credit cards of their parents, or it doesn't even have to be kids, like just grown-ups who like spend, I've like playing like gacha games or like just, online games. There's some games I've spent like ridiculous amounts of money for, like, accessories.
What's the most amount of money you've spent on a single game? I also have an answer to this if it helps. Just a single game. Amount of money sunk into a single game.
I think I told this before. I was a really big player of Lord of the Rings Online for like many years. Played that like during my university and like late high school years, played that a lot. It's a great game and like it's made with a lot of love, but the more you're in it and like you want to start a new character and like you don't want to unlock everything and grind through blah blah blah, so you buy little stuff here and there. I'm sure I spent at least $1,000 on that game in general.
I feel
minimum.
you. About 5 years ago, I used to be big Hearthstone player. Over the course of 2 years, I reckon I probably spent about $2,000, like
Easy.
just in Hearthstone.
It racks up
It's
really
insane.
easy.
And Hearthstone's not a particularly like predatory game either. It's just
Neither is Lord of
you
the
know, the
Rings.
joy of opening packs and boxes and
Yeah, and you get like you can buy nice accessories and you get like, it's not even pay to win necessarily, it's just like slots or like you can speed up certain processes or whatever. But still, so the question is kind of like, you know how people say you should, like, if you have a hobby you love, you should be able to, you know, spend money on it. But the thing with these games, it's a very gray zoney kind of thing, right?
Yeah, definitely the play to win games, I think. Like, it's made with a different intent.
Yeah, because it's different if you, for example, if you have like your hobby is woodworking and you spend, you know, an unreasonable amount on
materials and
nice
tools.
woods and materials. Yeah, you could say, okay, but you have a passion for it, or like you love biking and you know, buy nice gear and like cars or whatever, and parts costs money too. But the thing is, where do you buy this stuff because you genuinely, you know, enjoy doing it, or do you buy the stuff because you're kind of like hooked to the outcome?
or because you've been trained to by the game.
Yeah, exactly. Where it feels good and like you get like a boost out of it and like, oh, I can just, it's only 99 cents. I can get one more. It's like not that big of a deal, right? It's a cup of coffee. I'm like, I can get another cup of coffee.
Cheap coffee.
And then like you do it until you get a reward. And then when you get the reward, you get like that, you know, that boost.
And by that time, you've done so many microtransactions that it doesn't kind of add up in your mind. You just think that you've spent 99 cents a bunch of times. Turns out you've done that, you know, 200 times and you're out $200.
As an adult, I guess you could say, I mean, I still think it should be regulated to a certain extent, especially if it's kind of like arranged in this slot machine type of way where it's like sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. But like you could argue as an adult, at least, you know, you should be responsible or could try to be responsible enough to recognize that. While with, you know, kids games where you have like these microtransactions, I think that's very problematic because you kind of set up kids in these games to be willing and be, as you said, trained also later in life to be like very susceptible to, you know, gambling stuff.
It's really insidious. Like, these companies pay phenomenal psychologists to get in there and sort of structure the experience around conditioning people to be willing to open up and spend money.
And I mean, it's not only obviously, I'm sure you know about this, but you know how like the Twitter wheel, the feed, or Instagram, this has also been like fine-tuned, designed that when you pull Instagram and refresh on your, it's like a slot machine. It's like something new and shiny is going to pop up.
Oh my god, it absolutely is.
And it's very much on purpose that you want to pull down the wheel and stay longer. On YouTube as well, I want to spin the wheel and see what video I get. Yeah.
That is the best equivalency I have ever heard for like the Twitter feed or the Instagram feed. Because now that I think about it, there are times when I catch myself just refreshing Twitter like, you know, some dude playing slots for 8 hours a day, just staring at it and continuing to pull the lever.
Seeing, what's going to change.
And then you finally get that one tweet that enrages you or that like satisfies you or whatever.
Which is my jackpot. Yeah, there is no positivity.
It makes you like, you slot basically on Twitter or on YouTube until you find something that gives you like an emotional response, and then
Thank you. This has been very enlightening. I feel like I've just had a mini therapy session. That is a big breakthrough in my mind, and I will always continue to think of Twitter like that from now on.
it's really nasty. Like all of these, like literally the smoothness and like the way everything is like, it feels like such a mundane activity to do, like pull down and refresh, but everything, the way it like snaps back and like the wheel turns and the way content is like, it's probably the biggest feature in most social media, the refresh, to keep you on there. It's like also YouTube, I mean, is no exception. Like once you're on home where most people get their content, it's literally like you spin the wheel. I mean, you can scroll down if you want to, that's like another thing, but you can also just like go up, spin the wheel, and like serve me something, serve me what I want, like show me what I want, kind of.
Roll the dice and just keep spinning more time. Well, that's depressing.
Well, on that sad note, let's switch to YouTube. Why not? Because now that we've caught up with all the gossip and established, learned a lot about piercings. Still don't know the secret piercing Liam has. Become a member for that secret.
We're gonna stream it on Twitch though, because YouTube won't let us get away with it.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of blowjobs and everything. Yeah, no.
So
It's
many
gonna be wild.
blowjobs.
So many blowjobs, all the blowjobs. But I wanted to talk a bit about YouTube in general. I mean, we obviously talk about YouTube and our YouTube stuff almost in every episode in some way or form, given that it's our job. But I wanted to talk a bit about something more specific, and that's kind of the way that the meta on YouTube seems to be slowly shifting once again. You have like those minor and major earthquakes in the YouTube landscape where the type of content shifts. So in case you're not aware or need a refresher on that, there's like different eras in YouTube in its history. For example, you had like the vlog phase, the daily vlogs, which was like the Casey Neistat period. There was like obviously the podcast period, which is still to a certain extent going on. We're doing it right now.
All of them are still going on to a certain extent. I would say that there was the video essay period of like hypermedia analysis.
Video essay. There was also the genuinely clickbaity period where YouTube's algorithm didn't consider how much people actually enjoyed a video. It was really just about if they clicked on it, and that was all that mattered.
That was the bikini girl period, where you would literally just put a girl in a bikini in your thumbnail and it would lead to success.
And YouTube has evolved, and it's right now I think we're still kind of in the Mr. Beast era that we've been living in the last 2 years or so, I would say, together with the podcast era.
He's evolved beyond and is himself a concept now.
It is.
Kind
it
of,
is.
yeah.
But I think,
Yeah, I think
you
he
know
is.
what I mean. In case you don't know Mr. Beast, which I just assume you do, but just for the few of you who aren't like that deep into YouTube, he is currently not quite yet subscriber-wise, but in every other sense of the word, the biggest YouTuber on the platform by far. He spends millions of dollars on every video, has like a huge team of I think almost 200 people, as far as I know,
many people.
who work with him.
And he also spends millions of dollars on videos that he scraps. I was listening to an interview the other day with one of his managers, and he was talking about where they sent the whole team to the 7 wonders of the world to film stuff.
Was that the Colin and Samir thing?
Yeah, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, he's very brutal with that.
He is, yeah. They sent people to each of the 7 wonders of the world. Apparently it was a great video, but it just got scrapped because Mr. Beast couldn't think of a thumbnail for it. Like, he couldn't settle on it. So he just scrapped the entire video.
That's wild.
It is.
Yeah, he does that though. He like, I don't remember what rate it is, but every other video gets scrapped, even though it costs like millions of dollars to make.
And they're all equally as costly ideas. Like, another one they brought up was when he built a city out of jumping castles, I believe.
So it's pretty wild. And I think, I mean,
Sounds like so much fun.
content-wise, Mr. Beast probably, like Jimmy, has studied YouTube more than anyone else probably, and like is just so obsessed with it that he's like, it's no accident at any rate at all that he's where he is today. He knows exactly and like studies exactly what YouTube wants and has grown into that YouTuber.
Yeah, I remember watching a video, an interview with him, and I think it was him and Joe Rogan, and the amount to which he just focuses on YouTube and solely YouTube. Like, he doesn't engage with any other form of media.
Unhealthily so.
Exactly. Unless, like, it's to the extent that he needs to, so that it helps him understand sort of pop culture. Like, otherwise he's like so unaware of everything else that's going on, and it's just that amount of focus and dedication. It's like inspiring and also just like crazy.
No, it is. Absolutely. And he's probably going to stay the biggest YouTuber for a long time and is going to constantly keeps redefining what YouTube is actually, you know, able to do as a platform and be as a platform. And that is in many, many ways has mostly good effects, because it kind of, I think, has helped YouTube also been taken more and more seriously also in like a more mainstream sense. He's been, overall, he has been a very incredibly net positive for the platform overall. But of course, since he also likes to talk a lot about what it takes to be a good YouTuber, and he talks a lot about thumbnails and titles and video ideas, what has happened is that you have a whole army of YouTube channels that basically mimic the Mr. Beast style, and I'm not innocent there, because I've definitely looked, as anyone probably should, looked at Jimmy's stuff and like taken certain things.
I have a video with over 1 million views that was basically me just going, I want to make that Mr. Beast thumbnail, but One Piece version.
Which one was that? The
Zoro and Sanji Devil Fruit one. That thumbnail, heavily inspired by just the Mr. Beast thumbnail where he's eating like the golden chocolate thing. Like, in terms of structure, that's all it is. And I was just like, what if I made that a devil fruit? What if I made that Zoro and Sanji? That sounds fun. Million views. It was also a really fun video. Like, you need retention as well, but I think we're all guilty of seeing things that we like and trying them out. I know that you tried something out that might not have worked, actually. You tried to do, like, the, was it the devil fruit video where you had hundreds of devil fruits?
Yes, that did not work at all. I don't remember which one I changed. I think I changed it to a video. So it was basically talking about the origins of devil fruits, and there's this I think it's still his biggest video of Mr. Beast standing in the sea of Orbeez. And I thought, I personally had never seen someone try something similar with like this mass of objects. And so I had Luffy stand in the sea of devil fruits because I thought that would do, and it flopped completely. So, but I mean, also a lesson. You can't translate everything.
Yeah.
It was a really cool image. I remember you showing me a draft of it, and I was like, I've never seen anything like that before, which can either be very good or very bad. That's the risk, and that's what you learn from.
It's like, very high stakes, exactly, high risk.
And in that case, it didn't work. I changed it later to just Blackbeard holding a devil fruit, and that pushed it into a decent amount of views. It was kind of like the safe thing to do. I was kind of sad. I mean, sad to a degree because I really liked the thumbnail that my artist came up with. I liked it a lot, but yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
But it didn't quite work out. But I do think that we're slowly, because Mr. Beast's style, like, he obviously can't do it because he's the one who's created it and it's working for him. But you have this whole army of people who do very similar content with basically the exact same style of thumbnail and the exact same font.
Like Russian Mr. Beast.
I mean, that he's just stealing his videos. But then there's people like in the US, enough people who do like these challenge. I built the world's largest blah, and so on and so forth. And then you have the same Mr. Beast over-edited face thumbnail and the same editing style. And I think, and it works for many of them. Like many of these people, like I'm thinking like one person what's his name? Julian Bam? Is that, no, what is it? There's like a few people who do this like type of style. It's basically Mr. Beast, but like with a different person. And it works for them. Like they do good views.
There's even an Australian version of them. I forget what they're called now. They're an amazingly popular group. Like they have views and subscribers for days, but they just sort of take the Mr. Beast ideas. They do put their own spin on it, but it's basically just them doing stupid Mr. Beast-esque challenges.
Right.
Down under.
And the thing is, I think especially the thumbnails and the editing style is just, I think people have gotten a bit tired of it on the internet. Is like the feedback I've been hearing from other creators I've been talking to and so on and so forth. And it's so, I know a bunch of people who have been kind of speculating that we're moving kind of out of the spectacular, the world's biggest X, and I did this and that crazy thing, and more towards like a storytelling perspective where it's going to be more important again to actually tell a story, create an emotion and, actually entertain people in that way, in like a more deep way, quote unquote, which I'm very curious what you guys think and if you've like experienced that, because I mean obviously each niche on YouTube is different, as is the anime niche, as is the One Piece niche more specifically, and I do think like the meta there has also been maybe changing even more rapidly than YouTube's meta overall. So I'm kind of curious, do you guys think right now, because it feels like, especially in the anime niche right now, it feels like everything is also very much so in the over-sensationalized, strongest, best, and like I'm including all of us in that, of course, because we're all playing the game as well.
We would never sensationalize a title and thumbnail.
No, yeah.
We would never sell out to that degree.
Ouch.
I'm using Reddit's words against us.
But that's very much the game right now, where you're kind of like also topic-wise, like right now what's hot is not doing, character analyses as it was just a while ago, or even theories aren't enough anymore. You need to like over-sensationalize the theories and speculate what the next, it's very much extreme based, and I wonder, do you see it moving away from that at the moment?
It's a really weird space we're in right now. I think it's also the case because we're obviously between arcs and we're entering a new saga, but then this is something that we have discussed before in an episode that's actually coming out tonight, for those of you who are interested in how things work.
I mean tonight, obviously our tonight, not yes, tonight, your tonight, because that's this episode.
It's already out. Watch it again.
Maze, the Blue Banana Matrix. But the fact that the spoilers are coming out, I think also heavily impact why the One Piece niche is changing so much on YouTube, because you can't make theories anymore, because unless they're like we said, so far into the future, you know that it's not going to be relevant in whatever the episode, whatever the chapter is coming out, because so many people know what that chapter is already.
I wouldn't even say it's only One Piece though. I mean, you have like that, what you just described for the One Piece community specifically, but I think it's like something that you see in the anime community overall. Like you barely see, like for other anime, I don't see any character analysis. It's the same. It's like the top, the strongest moons in Demon Slayer and whatever, like Boruto's newest power, or like it's kind of across the board. So I'm not sure if you can blame it only. It plays a role for One Piece specifically, I think, what we talked about a lot before, kind of the spoiler culture and the nature that One Piece is moving towards its end. But I don't think if you can pinpoint it only on that, because you do see it kind of across the board.
But then I guess that also makes sense for the anime niche in general, because I feel like the anime niche has always been sort of a step behind YouTube overall. And so if the YouTube overall niche, or the YouTube market, is sort of moving beyond just sensationalized videos and going into that deeper storytelling, I think it's telling that the anime niche more generally is now sort of really amping up in that sensationalized era where everything's just big and fresh and boom and huge.
They're slow adopters. I would argue that most of us in this call right now were sensationalizing things like this time last year, if not even before then. The rest of the niche has definitely caught up, because I see in particular a lot of imitators of you, Manu, in terms of thumbnail styles.
Yeah, I've noticed that a lot.
Like,
I mean, I've been
lot.
guilty of that a few times. I've
So
taken
have I.
elements.
I've taken elements
Yeah.
of your thumbnails, but like the O'Hara sensational style is becoming very common to see on non-O'Hara videos.
Even right down to the font. And
Especially the font.
yeah,
and the
it's
bottom
really the
left text.
font. Yeah.
I have seen that too. And I'm very happy to announce that now that I've noticed it a lot, about to move on again to a new... My thumbnails are about to change a little bit as well, slowly.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, I've started noticing people using my titles or, alternates of my titles, and I'm like, damn. I mean, good on you, because I do the same thing.
I used one of your titles.
You did, to great effect, yeah. Which is just what happens.
well.
If someone finds something that works, I've used your titles as well when you did, your infamous Greatest One Piece Theory video. My reaction to that video, I think, has over 1 million views now.
That wouldn't surprise me.
And
That
I think
is
it's also one of
crazy.
Brago's most viewed videos.
Yeah. I think
Yeah, that
everyone who
wouldn't surprise
talked
me.
about it, it's probably one of their most viewed videos.
Which was a smart thing to... I remember before it came out, and obviously I never expected it to blow up the way it did. I thought it was interesting and new, and I thought it had potential. So I actually reached out to a few people and asked them if they were interested in making reaction videos.
Oh.
And I remember, I don't even know, did I ask you, Liam?
You did. You also asked me to do it for the one before, but it didn't work out. So it ended up being the theory one.
Exactly. And so I remember some people were like, I don't know. But then the people who actually jumped on, like smartly jumped on it, and as they saw it was blowing up, and like timely as well, because you and Brago put out that video, I think a day after or something, while it was still blowing up.
I think mine was a couple of days, but yeah, it was still blowing up for like a week.
Yeah, but while it was still very much, en vogue. And I think that's like a very classic example of like smart trend jacking in that sense, which I think is none of us is really doing at all. Like when it comes to other YouTubers, at least. Not obviously when it comes to the story we are, but...
The story is everything, and that's kind of what I don't like. The way I define this current era of specific One Piece YouTube is it's basically news. It's your weekly One Piece sensationalist news. Here's the crazy thing that happened.
I think it's kind of even less than news. It's kind of like the Tucker Carlson of anime, what we're doing. It's kind of like we're kind of taking something that happened and like just ranting about it in our own show.
Yeah, I guess.
Like,
Here's how those Lelousians are gonna, steal your jobs. Great. That great thing that kingdom doesn't exist anymore.
I think most of us aren't on that super hateful side of things, but I think we're all like obviously extremely biased, extremely like sharing our personal thoughts on things. And I mean, I think none of us has to hold ourselves to the standard of a, like, we're all still entertaining YouTubers. It's not about actually reporting the facts. I think the only person that kind of does that, and only on Twitter, is kind of Arthur, but even he's obviously, you know, sharing his own thoughts and opinions more and more.
Heavily biased.
Yeah.
I've never met someone more biased.
So, and I think we don't have to hold ourselves to that standard, because I think, you know, if you want to know what's happening factually,
Go read the chapter.
you don't need news reporting. You can just read or watch whatever it is you're into.
You know, I had a guy comment on one of my videos recently that he stopped watching Grand Line Review because I don't recap the chapters in the chapter reviews. He's like, this guy's just giving his thoughts. He's not telling me what happened in the chapter at all. He's just vaguely alluding to it. And I'm like,
Yeah, that's the point.
it's a review. That's the point.
There are a lot of people who do that. There are a lot of people like
There are.
who are a lot more casual fans who don't necessarily read the series. Like I have a close friend of mine who is a more casual fan of One Piece, who watches the anime, isn't caught up because he doesn't read the manga, but he watches chapter reviews time to time
I
just
have a
to
lot of
see
fans like that
yeah, just
in
to
my
know
reviews.
what's going on.
Yeah, I try to mix both, which is kind of like what I found for myself, for my style, is that I try to hide the recap in my analysis or review, but it's there, and I know that people, like, some people just come to, as you say, they don't
Yeah.
read the chapter, or they didn't really understand. Maybe like sometimes people who don't speak that well English or something didn't quite understand what was going on or whatever, and kind of want to like have it re-explained to them.
Personally, for me, it's like because of what stage of the One Piece niche we're in, it's very telling like how well the chapter was received. And I imagine it's like that across the board as well. Like the last chapter, for example, like I was super excited, as was I imagine like the entire fan base, about what happened. You know, like the new powers and Luffy's dream and all of that. And so, like, I don't know if you guys can see right now, but I am actually standing because I moved the desk up so that I could stand, because I felt like I couldn't convey. Well, I don't know. It's a different setup, so people might be able to tell. But like, you could definitely tell in my last chapter analysis video, because I just didn't think that I could convey the same emotion that I was feeling just sitting down. And people responded like overwhelmingly positive to it, because they were saying like it's exactly the same sort of emotion they were feeling, just the amount of hype and the amount of, you know, how excited they were, and they really appreciated that, you know, that I was obviously feeling the same. So it's a really interesting thing, because on the flip side of things, when people aren't that interested in a chapter, you also can tell like in just how little the views get on a video where people are just not interested in that chapter. Like, and I saw this happen towards the end of the Wano arc, where if it wasn't bounties, if like the Straw Hats weren't there, videos across the board were just doing terribly.
I mean, that also coincides with the hiatus as well, so there's like a lot of bad factors happening.
I suppose post hiatus.
Yeah, some of the late chapters of Wano didn't do as well, I think. And I still think to a certain degree, like, I think it's picking up again, but still, I think interest in One Piece content right now, maybe it's just oversaturated, maybe it's people not being that happy with the ending of the arc, who knows, but I still think that there is a bit of a slump right now going on in terms of interest in One Piece.
And I think it's also, again, because of what era we are in YouTube right now. I would say that even post-hiatus, theory videos still tended to do relatively well, or relatively okay, whereas I feel like theory videos now don't do as well as they did post-hiatus.
I genuinely fear posting anything that isn't directly related to the chapter.
Yeah, it's
Because
really hard to make
it just feels
content.
like it will not do well. It feels like a guaranteed 7 to 10. And I want to fix that, because I don't like that feeling. I hate feeling like the news reporter.
Yes, I'm trying to fix that right now as well, because I can also tell, like, I'm very proud of the library of like character analyses and like content that I build that is, you can always watch it, because it's kind of disconnected from what's going on right now in the story, because you're looking more at like what happened in the past and who's that person and so on and so forth. And I agree with you, Liam. I realized the more, and I think it's also YouTube and the audience themselves, that obviously you follow the audience on YouTube to a certain degree. And the audience has, as you said, led us to being the news reporters and being just very timely and on top of what's been happening, especially the last few months. But I also realized instantaneously, and I wonder if you have experienced the same thing. Before that, I used to have more, like 2 videos were evergreen, 1 video was maybe more timely. And in that context, you have that timely video, which gets you new people who are right at the at the peak of what's going on in the story, and it gives you new viewers who might then like go down and watch your older content if they like what you're doing. But you had like 2 videos out of these 3 videos would be videos that would just slowly grow and like feed off to other evergreen videos, and you'd have this like nice trickle down effect where like you would maybe funnel a viewer in through the new and like timely content, but then they would trickle down into your like web and pool.
My dripping moist pool of content.
Yes. But right now, where you and like me and like most people kind of just keep up with what's happening, where there is enough to talk about, obviously, and people want to hear it. What I've been also noticing, and I think I've complained to you about that before the last podcast, is what I was very used to with my channel is this cross-pollination, is that the word? Mm-hmm. Where basically evergreen videos kind of like send viewers on that journey through your channel, which I didn't have with the last few months of videos, as you said, because it's all extremely timely.
Me too.
So you don't get like you don't send people on that journey. It's just people maybe subscribe and then they wait for the next video to come out that's timely again.
To put that into perspective, I used to make 4 videos a week on Grand Line Review. 1 was a chapter review, 3 were evergreen videos. Now that has switched to I make 3 to 4 videos a week. If it's a 3 video week, chapter review, chapter comments, evergreen video, maybe, or a theory video that was relevant to what happened in the chapter. I was thinking about this legitimately this afternoon whilst walking my dog. I was like, I'm not planting any seeds on the channel anymore. I'm buying vegetables instead of planting seeds, and I need to figure that out and fix it because it is not good for the long term. Like, I'm surviving weekly, but that's not what I want to do.
Exactly. I feel I couldn't have summarized it better. You're actually speaking from my heart. And I'm genuinely nervous because I have 3 or 4 videos coming up that are genuinely evergreen as it gets. Like, by the time this is out, they might be out. I have a Wano analysis coming out. I have a video coming out about the entire storyline before Roger's execution in One Piece. That's coming out tomorrow. I have a video about why you should watch One Piece. So
do I.
all these videos, like from an evergreen perspective, and I've talked to other people, are probably in the long run gonna do well over the next 6 months, 12 months. But I already know that they're gonna start off as a 10 and 9.
I would be happy with an 8 if I were you.
Yeah, and I'm gonna doubt myself for ever uploading them in the first place.
You've got to leave them be, because after having that epiphany, I went back on some of my videos. There are evergreen videos I made like 8 months ago that have close to 1 million views now that I was really disappointed with when I initially posted them, and it was just
your
like,
Devil Fruit videos, for example. Yeah,
the Devil Fruit one, also a tier list I made, like a Conqueror's Haki tier list that has over 1 million views now. Where did that come from?
That popped up on my YouTube recently as well, actually.
Yeah,
is that
it's just
the
happened.
Conqueror's Haki? Yeah,
it's the one with like Roger in the thumbnail. I don't know what happened to it, but like those are the things that I need to do more of, because that's never going to happen with the chapter related stuff.
It's a difficult, slippery slope to go. I also think, I'm not sure about, like, I'm actually curious. As you know, I stopped chapter reviews for a long time and then got back into them just because I wanted to talk about the chapter, but also because I felt like there was a big audience there, and like since the big thing and since the hiatus, mostly like with every chapter review, I've gained a decent amount of subscribers. While with recent chapters, I could kind of feel like maybe that audience has reached a certain dipping point where like the subscribers are getting less and less, and like you're kind of making content for your current subscriber base, which is also important, but I think it has kind of shifted a little bit. I wonder if you have that effect too, two of you.
I know that my subscriber growth has really stagnated since the hiatus, and part of that's my fault as well. I've been at a really busy period in my life where I'm like juggling a lot right now.
You are.
So like YouTube, as much as I would love to dedicate more to it, it's just something that I haven't been able to do, and I am slowly trying to as well figure that out and like see where I'm going to go from here. But yeah, like subscriber growth after that big boom with like Luffy's awakening and things like that, it's really just halted for me.
With chapter reviews specifically, it has stagnated, is probably the right word. It is still increasing at a steady rate, but there's there's no real growth coming from chapter reviews because, as you said, I don't think it's reaching new audiences anymore.
Very philosophical.
Quite.
I wonder, so maybe to round this up then for the two of you, do you think, because I'm thinking about this constantly and I've been thinking about this for a long time, basically for the last year and a half. I'm thinking, how can I tell better stories in my videos?
This is a big topic for the 60 seconds we have.
That might be a whole topic for another thing, but like that's something I would
Potentially,
maybe
yeah.
just to put it out there, I would want to do better and more, but I find it kind of, as you said, with that kind of newsy kind of feel of what we're doing and the sensationalism going on, it feels difficult to implement, even though I feel like it should absolutely be possible.
I think we should workshop this. I think this is potentially a topic for another show, but I would love to discuss this with the two of you because I feel like I'm smacking my head into a brick wall.
It would be
Same. We can do it
mutually
next
beneficial.
week maybe. Oh no.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's do it the week after, because next week is the America episode. I'll be coming to you from New York.
Okay, then.
And we will be leaving
Nice.
you from here.
Become member.
So, yep.
Yeah,
Go
become members.
enjoy Munich for a little longer.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye. Movie recording stopped. Nice. Good timing.